Is there such a thing as a fan base getting a little too hyped up over a young player? It's an interesting question, especially when you look at the way people have been reacting to Will Howard lately. The energy around him feels almost electric, like the city is ready to crown their next franchise quarterback, even though he's still very much in the waiting phase. And honestly, it's not hard to see why. Howard has that rare mix of talent and charisma that just draws people in. When you watch him interact with the media or even just see him on the practice field, he's magnetic. The kind of guy who makes you feel like you've known him for years, even if you're meeting him for the first time. The team's training, camp setup only adds to that vibe. Unlike some NFL practices where everything feels closed off and distant, these sessions are incredibly accessible to the fans. You can get so close that it almost feels like you're part of the conversation. You hear coaches shouting instructions, players calling out signals, and every once in a while you catch a reaction to something a fan might say. That kind of environment builds a connection that's hard to find elsewhere. It's no surprise that Howard, with his easygoing but confident demeanor, is soaking up all that attention. Fans are hungry for a new leader, especially at a quarterback position, which is arguably the most important spot in all of professional sports. Howard's path to this point is impressive too. Many of the fans who have jumped on his bandwagon probably caught him during Ohio State's championship run, where he played a key role in that final game against Notre Dame. Beyond his on-field accomplishments, he just comes across as genuine and approachable. Not just likable, but magnetic, and that's a quality that transcends stats and highlight reels. He's the kind of player you root for because he seems to embody both talent and humility, a combination that makes people believe he can succeed at the highest level. Now, that's not to say the path ahead is guaranteed or easy. The quarterback room he's stepping into is no joke. It's packed with talent and experience. There's a living legend in the mix, along with a seasoned veteran who's been part of the organization for years. Howard, in contrast, is just a guy trying to prove himself. A dude in the truest sense of the word. And with that comes a certain vulnerability. You get the sense that anyone who underestimates how much work he has to do is probably missing the full picture. Physically, Howard has the tools. He's got solid size, decent speed, and an arm that can deliver the ball downfield. But what really stands out about him is his mental game, his ability to learn, adjust, and improve. That trajectory is clear when you look back at his college career, especially his time at Ohio State. Over the course of that championship season, you could see him getting better and better. His decision-making sharpened, his stats improved, and he became a more efficient, confident player. The Steelers took notice of this upward arc when they drafted him, seeing a young quarterback with potential and a growth mindset, someone whose best football is still ahead of him. That said, there's a reason the Steelers aren't just handing him the starting job right now. Fans might imagine that if Aaron Rodgers wasn't on the roster, Howard would immediately step in, but that's not how it works. The reality is that if Mason Rudolph were the starter, Howard would still likely be a backup, or even the third option behind a veteran. The Steelers see Howard as a project, a promising one, but one that needs more time and development before he's ready to lead an NFL offense week in and week out. Watching Howard in practice, you can spot what still needs work. It's not about his arm strength. He can throw deep and with velocity. The challenge lies in the finer points, throwing into tight windows, delivering with the precision that NFL defenders demand, and making those split-second decisions under pressure. In college, receivers tend to get more separation, so it's easier to find open targets and make cleaner throws. The NFL game is faster and more complex, and Howard needs to adjust his timing and accuracy to fit that level. There's also a mental side to this. Risk-taking is part of growing as a quarterback, especially in practice settings. Aaron Rodgers recently talked about how during training camp, he's always been willing to test limits, trying out different throws, seeing what he can get away with, and learning from the mistakes to avoid bigger issues in real games. It's a process that requires confidence and patience, and it's something Howard will have to embrace fully. One positive sign is that Howard seems to be gradually adding velocity to his throws. He's not rushing or trying to force things. Instead, he's learning and improving with each practice. It's a subtle but important development because it shows he's committed to taking that next step without getting ahead of himself. In a room where he's learning from legends and veterans, patience will be a key part of his journey. Switching gears a bit, the conversation around the Steelers' defensive line also offers some insight into how teams evolve. Take the case of Big Dan McCullers, a player who brought a lot of size to the field but ultimately didn't make the impact many expected. At 6 feet 7 inches and nearly 350 pounds, McCullers was massive, the kind of player you'd think could dominate the nose tackle spot. But size alone wasn't enough. Offensive lines found ways to neutralize him by getting leverage underneath and pushing him back, which limited his effectiveness. That story reflects a larger shift in how the position is played across the league. The Steelers were one of the last teams holding on to the old school model of a nose tackle who's just a giant body clogging up space. But the game has changed. The era of Aaron Donald, a defensive force who not only occupies blockers but actively beats them, has rewritten what teams expect from their defensive linemen. It's no longer enough to just be big. Players have to be quick, disruptive, and able to make plays on the ball. Right now, the Steelers are building around that new model. Keanu Benton and Derek Harmon are two players who represent this evolution. Benton came in with a lot of hype as a nose tackle, but has struggled to consistently show up on the stat sheet. Harmon, on the other hand, has made a name for himself by getting into the backfield and making plays, sacks, tackles for loss, even pass deflections. The team's coaches have been clear that they want more production from their interior linemen, and Harmon looks like the kind of player who can deliver. It's interesting how these roles are blending too. When asked about his position, Benton just smiles and says he's a playmaker, a label that the coaching staff fully embraces. It's a sign that the traditional boundaries of positions are shifting, and versatility and impact are what really matter. So, whether it's a young quarterback like Howard navigating the pressures and expectations of the NFL or defensive linemen adjusting to the changing demands of the game, what you see is a story of growth and transformation. The Steelers, like many teams, are balancing respect for tradition with the need to innovate and adapt. And for fans, it means staying patient and realistic about how players develop while still getting excited about the possibilities ahead. As we continue unpacking the Steelers' evolving roster dynamics and the fan base's expectations, there's an underlying theme that comes into sharper focus: the delicate balance between excitement and patience, especially when it comes to young players stepping into critical roles. The Steelers, a franchise steeped in tradition and success, have long been admired for their methodical approach to building a team, especially when it comes to developing talent. This philosophy is evident in how they manage players like Will Howard, whose potential has generated palpable buzz, but who is nevertheless still very much a work in progress. One of the challenges with fan enthusiasm is that it often runs ahead of reality. When a promising young player arrives with the right physical tools and the right attitude, it's tempting for fans to envision instant success, to see the rookie as the answer to all their prayers. But football, particularly at the quarterback position, rarely unfolds that way. The NFL is a complex, unforgiving environment where even the most gifted athletes need time to adjust to the speed, complexity, and mental demands of the professional. A game. The Steelers understand this well. They've seen many talented players come and go, and their front office and coaching staff typically prefer to let development happen organically rather than rush the process. In Howard's case, the excitement is understandable. The Steelers haven't had a clear-cut franchise quarterback in recent years, and the fan base is hungry for a player who can not only perform at a high level, but also embody the leadership qualities that have defined Steelers quarterbacks of the past. His collegiate success at Ohio State, particularly leading the Buckeyes to a national championship, provides a tantalizing glimpse of what might be possible. Moreover, his personality and that magnetic, relatable aura only adds fuel to the fire. People want to believe in him and they want to see him succeed. But belief alone won't win games. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers have begun to circulate in the NFL world, igniting a fresh wave of speculation about the future of Baker Mayfield, the quarterback whose career trajectory has been nothing short of a roller coaster ride. Sources close to the Pittsburgh Steelers organization have reportedly hinted at the possibility of the team locking in Mayfield on a 3-year deal, a move that could shake up the FC landscape considerably. Although no official announcement has been made, insiders suggest that Pittsburgh's front office has been quietly working behind the scenes to bring Mayfield into their fold, potentially addressing their long-standing need for stability at the quarterback position. This rumored signing is fueling intense debate among fans and analysts alike, as the Steelers seek to rebuild their offense around a player known for his gritty style and competitive edge. The potential acquisition of Mayfield is seen by some as a strategic gamble, given his history of fluctuating performances and injury setbacks. Yet others view it as an opportunity for the Steelers to ignite a new chapter under a signal caller with untapped potential. The very idea of Mayfield donning the black and gold jersey has become a hot topic, with many speculating on how his playing style might fit into Pittsburgh's offensive schemes and what this could mean for the team's championship aspirations. Adding to the intrigue, the reported 3-year term of Mayfield's contract is being interpreted by insiders as a sign of confidence mixed with cautious optimism from the Steelers' management. Unlike short-term stopgap measures, a multi-year agreement signals a commitment to build a more cohesive offensive unit around Mayfield's unique skill set, blending his mobility with his ability to make quick decisions under pressure. Analysts are debating how this move might affect the Steelers' draft strategy, as well as the development of younger players on the roster who could either benefit from Mayfield's experience or face reduced playing opportunities. The timing of this potential signing is also a point of discussion, with some suggesting that Pittsburgh is aiming to get ahead of the curve in the offseason scramble for quarterback talent, especially as other franchises are rumored to be exploring trade options and free agent signings. The 3-year duration allows the Steelers to evaluate Mayfield's long-term fit while maintaining flexibility, which is a delicate balance in the ever-changing dynamics of the NFL. Fans are already imagining what a Steelers offense led by Mayfield might look like, combining his tenacity with Pittsburgh's traditional emphasis on a strong running game and opportunistic defense. This brewing rumor surrounding Mayfield's move to the Steelers has naturally sparked a variety of reactions across the NFL community, with some experts weighing in on the potential impact this could have on the team's offensive identity. The Steelers, long known for their disciplined and physical style of play, might be poised for a stylistic evolution if Mayfield's athleticism and improvisational tendencies come into full effect. Some insiders speculate that head coach Mike Tomlin and offensive coordinator candidates could be aligning their schemes to accommodate a quarterback with Mayfield's strengths and weaknesses. There is also speculation about how this signing might influence the locker room dynamics, as Mayfield's outspoken personality contrasts with the typically reserved culture that has defined Pittsburgh football for decades. This potential acquisition is seen by some as a bold statement of intent, signaling the Steelers' willingness to embrace change in pursuit of sustained competitiveness. Meanwhile, opponents in the AFC North are rumored to be analyzing this development closely, adjusting their defensive game plans in anticipation of facing a more dynamic and unpredictable Steelers offense led by Mayfield. The ripple effects of this possible signing are already being felt across media outlets, with countless pundits debating whether this gamble will pay off or backfire. In light of the speculation, there is also much discussion about Mayfield's career trajectory and how this opportunity with the Steelers might serve as a pivotal moment for the quarterback's legacy. Mayfield, who has endured highs and lows since entering the league as the first overall draft pick, might be looking at this 3-year deal as a chance for redemption and stability after a tumultuous journey marked by inconsistent performances and team changes. Experts suggest that the Steelers could provide the environment Mayfield needs to showcase his full potential, surrounded by a strong offensive line and a supportive coaching staff focused on maximizing his abilities. Yet skeptics warn that this move might be fraught with risks, pointing to Mayfield's history of injuries and occasional lapses in judgment on the field. The pressure to perform in a storied franchise like Pittsburgh, with its passionate fan base and high expectations, could either propel Mayfield to new heights or exacerbate existing challenges. The narrative emerging from this rumor is one of a crossroads for both player and team, where mutual needs might align perfectly if handled, with the right balance of patience and strategic planning. The possibility of Mayfield's resurgence in the Steelers' colors is already a source of excitement and cautious hope among followers of the NFL. Finally, the potential signing of Baker Mayfield by the Steelers is expected to have broader implications beyond the immediate team roster, influencing league-wide dynamics and the quarterback market for years to come. Should this deal be confirmed, it could trigger a domino effect, prompting other franchises to rethink their quarterback situations, either accelerating the movement of veteran QBs or intensifying competition for emerging talents in the draft. The Steelers' rumored 3-year commitment might also set a precedent for the types of contracts offered to quarterbacks who have demonstrated flashes of brilliance, but whose consistency remains in question. Furthermore, this potential acquisition might impact the Steelers' salary cap strategies and future free agent pursuits, reshaping the team's construction in significant ways. Fans and analysts alike are watching closely to see how this situation unfolds, understanding that the quarterback position is often the linchpin of a franchise's success or failure. Whether the Steelers' gamble on Mayfield becomes a masterstroke or a cautionary tale will likely depend on a multitude of factors, from coaching decisions and player health to the evolving competitive landscape of the NFL. The rumblings about Mayfield's 3-year stint with Pittsburgh have undeniably captured the imagination of the football world, leaving everyone eager for confirmation and ready to speculate on what could be a defining chapter in both the quarterback's career and the Steelers' storied history. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.